Well, hello guys, welcome back. Since a lot of people asked, I am doing a lot better. The rough work that Hermes was doing, um, a lot of times we all have stuff in our past, and a good book for all of you to read, I don't care what your gender is or if you even have one, is Women Who Run with Wolves, and you should read that thing because she talks about the cyclical process of healing. You go through this trauma and you heal from it, whether you go through psychotherapy or you do it on your own or whatever, but you get better. And you're hopping and bopping along and you think you're great, and then one day you see something and it reminds you and you are totally devastated. And that's what happened to me because you guys know I grew up in an abusive home. My father was extremely abusive to both me and my brother, and towards my mother, he would beat us kids in the head. So, yeah, it was rough. Things improved when my brother finally ran away, but it was still rough and it was pretty much a nightmare. And I can't remember a lot of my childhood, which is probably just as good. And what happens in paganism is you see a lot of very abusive men latch on to certain gods. They latch on to Odin, which is why Odin and I have a very troubled relationship. I love the All-Father, but I don't need Daddy the Second. So as much as I love Odin and as much as gentle god as he is, I can't work with him. We love each other deeply, and he will come to me when he thinks I need him, but he knows too many abusive men latch on to him. And the same thing with Hermes. I was finding a lot of abusive men, really terrible men who don't believe that there's any such thing as rape and stuff like that. Because remember, I had rapists and pedophiles in my family. I grew up with a lot of monsters in my family. And my dad's side of the family was enabling, so no matter what happened, like, I had an uncle who abused his children, and they said, well, the children were asking for it. That's the kind of fucked up family I grew up in. So, Hermes had to help me through that. He's like, look, these assholes, I knew you grew up with bad people, and you're seeing these assholes on the internet, but the majority of the human race isn't like that. I'm like, yeah, they are. So, I just needed to work through that. I really couldn't tell you everything that happened in my past. I just had a doctor say, if your brain's blocking stuff out, you're lucky. I have had accidents where, that could explain some of my memory loss, and one doctor thought I had a stroke at one point, but a lot of it's like I blacked out a lot of my childhood on purpose just to survive, just to be able to tolerate living with my parents. The only reason we didn't run away is I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, and we were told that if you ran away to foster homes, they were so much worse. So that's the only reason we didn't run away. And I kind of, you think you're over it and you think you're cool, and then you see something and you're back to like when you were a little kid and you couldn't run away. So it's been okay, guys. I'm okay. This sounds weird, but I'm happy I went through it and lived, because then I can tell people, no matter how bad it gets, you can live through it. The asphyxia was the very worst thing for me to go on in some ways because it brought all that back. But it was the best thing in a lot of ways because it seems to have reset me, and I'm not as full of anxiety, and I'm not as depressed, and I haven't, thank the gods, been on anything for over a year at this point. So, it was just rough. I kind of had to face that, and that doesn't sound very merciful of Loki or Hermes to make me face it, but, you don't have to run away from your past. You can face it and say, yeah, I'm a survivor. I survived this shit. So what do you have to worry about? You already probably survived the worst shit that could have ever happened to anybody. You're golden now. You can like walk around like, you know what? You can't scare me. You know the kind of past I've had? Yeah, you don't personally scare me. So it's interesting, and we've been going over how a lot of the habits I have, both good and bad, are rooted in my past, and it's okay, and we have like all eternity to sort this stuff out. It doesn't have to be done today, and there's no such thing as like a perfect, unbroken human being. We all go broke at some point. The only reason I eventually wasn't so pissed off at my father is that I could tell he was broken by his family because they're a bunch of bastards. And he was broken by he had time in the military. Something happened to him. I know it did. And with my mother, she just had those fucktards in his family. Excuse my language, but I fucking hate them. They would call her down and verbally abuse her for hours every day, and she would cry. And he was like, you know what? It's okay to hate your family. You don't have to make up with them and shit. What do I look like, Dr. Phil? So we've been doing a lot. And like I told you, that psycho asshole aunt called down here and threatened to call the cops because they were worried that maybe I wasn't going to be a victim because I haven't talked to them for years. And I'm like, fuck you, go away. So yeah, it's just when you grow up in a family like that and you see just how horrible and scummy human beings can be, you do have a lot of trust issues, and you're like, humans are fucking horrible. I'd kill them all if I could. So it'll be a good thing if I never become a deity. So if I never become a commie, it'll be great because I wouldn't be too merciful towards human beings. But I've also, like, from doing this channel and from, meeting other people, I've learned that all human beings aren't that bad. It did take me years, to the point where I'm okay to about it by now, but, even when I was in college, if you would have accidentally come up behind me and touched my shoulder, I would have jumped in the fucking air because that would have meant a beating most of the time, but I'm okay now. I never got to talk to any of the therapists I went to about having been abused. I think they knew, but what could they do, right? So there's no telling where my lack of memory comes from. If it's all the medication I've been on, which now I realize was because I never got therapy for what I went through, or it's from, like, the beatings, or, like, what it's from, but it doesn't matter. I have enough memory left. So yeah, guys, I am doing okay, and that's just something I will have always had in my past. And yeah, there will be times I will see ass clowns on the internet that apparently live in this fucking fairy tale world where they've never had to address this shit. Or maybe they're really scummy people, but, I'm okay. I'm not bitter, by the way, at people that had a good life. I'm bitter at people that, because it has never happened to them, they don't believe it. It's like, I'm fucking telling you it happened, man. It happens. So yeah, I saw some asshole that was writing on Hermes, and then he wrote about how he doesn't believe in the Me Too movement because there's no such thing as rape, and all these women just want attention. I'm like, I could fucking kill you with my own hands. So yeah, I'm okay. And Loki and Hermes are both like, yeah, they'll empower your rage because you should be angry. Nobody of any gender should be hurt. So it isn't just like a woman thing. It's like nobody of any gender should be hurt or attacked. That's common sense, and that's pretty much common law in most religions. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. We got the foxies hanging out over here. We're making sausage because we saw an adorable video of a fox eating sausage, and I was like, ooh, sausage. So we went up and we got sausage, and we're coming back, and I found a quarter. So Hermes has a quarter now. And, well, he has a lot of stuff, but he has a quarter over there now, and it's been a good day. But yeah, I figured I would talk about that, because a lot of people were like, what is it you're going through? What is this dark work you're going through? That's what I'm going through. But it's okay. It's cheaper than therapy, and it's just, they're doing it from a place of love. They're making me face it, and then I'm, like, coming out through the other end of it, and I'll be okay for a while. And if I have to deal with it again, I have to deal with it again. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.